This episode is sponsored by Smart Travel, a new podcast from NerdWallet. You know that one friend who always finds the best travel deals, picks the right cards, and somehow ends up in first class for the price of coach? How do they do that? Well, Smart Travel is like that friend, but in podcast form. They cover all things travel finance, like which travel cards earn their keep and which are just heavy, shiny metal, and planning group trips that won't ruin your budget or your friendships. So travel smarter and spend less. That's the key with help from NerdWallet. Follow Smart Travel wherever you get your podcasts. Armchair Explorer is a part of the Voyescape podcast network. Check out all of their shows from around the world at voyescape.com. Hey guys, welcome to Armchair Explorer. My name's Aaron Millar. I'm a travel writer and your host. And today we have one of our bucket list episodes. These are the experiences that I think you are going to want to put right at the top of that list. And this one is a little bit different. This is actually the first job that I ever had, the first proper thing I ever had published as a travel writer. So it's near and dear to my heart. It's a bit mad. It is 100-mile pub crawl. Sounds awesome. It is. I hope you enjoy this story. And if you do, please follow the show wherever you listen to your podcasts. Please leave a review. That makes a massive difference. I'm trying to get up to 200 reviews. We're at 150 now. If I could get up to 200 by the end of the year, that would mean a heck of a lot to me. So thank you for whatever you can do. And reach out to me on social. Let me know what you think of this. Let me know if you have any ideas for other 100-mile pub crawls around the world. Maybe we can start a club of people that do insane outdoor pub crawls. That sounds like a club for me. Well, anyway, enjoy. I hope you got a pint on you. Cheers, Slanger. This is the 100-mile pub crawl across the South Downs Way. Should you ever happen to find yourself walking with only one boot on in the middle of the night, the one thing you definitely don't want to read when you open the guidebook is, quote, "The path climbs gently through a field of stingy nettles and large piles of cow dung." Nonetheless, having undertaken the challenge of walking the entire 100-mile length of the South Downs Way, this was precisely where I found myself on only my second day on the trail. The South Downs National Park in Sussex, England, where I grew up, had just turned 1 year old. And never one to shy away from an occasion, I decided to celebrate this fact by embarking on a 100-mile pub crawl along the length of the South Downs Way, the national trail that runs across the breadth of the park from Eastbourne to Winchester. So each night I would be bunking up and raising a glass in the best pubs on the trail, plus a few en route too. 100 miles, shoeless or not, is a long way, but it was worth every inch of the effort because, as I was about to find out, this part of the world is overflowing with gentle landscapes, ancient history, and warm, welcoming people. Not to mention a good pint or two. The trail begins at the western edge of Eastbourne seafront and immediately showed me no mercy, rising 530 feet to the summit of Beachy Head, the highest chalk sea cliff in Britain. Wind ebbing and charging off the sea as views opened up across the steep rolling pastures and deep blue of the Channel. I had lunch at the George Inn in Alfriston, voted England's prettiest village, as travellers have done since it first received its licence over 600 years ago. And then I climbed steeply to Firle Beacon as a low cloud fell quickly on the hill, forcing me to walk blind compass points through the mist as distant dogs howled unseen in the fog. That night, at the Ram Inn in Firle, a local fiddle band struck up playing after dinner. Every foot in the house started stomping in time. And next door, a group of young lads were flicking tokens onto a slanted lead table with a thin coin slot on top. "It's called Toad in the Hole," Richard, the captain of the pub team, the Ram Yobs, explained. "You get 2 points if the toad goes in the hole, 1 if it lands on top. Then you work your way down from 31, finishing at 0. It's been played in Sussex, this game, for hundreds of years. And as it turns out, they had a match that night. So I spent the rest of the evening tapping tables to Irish music and cheering on the Yobs. Tomorrow would bring a sore head, but one well earned and well worth it, at least. The next day, I crossed the River Ouse and headed north to the heights of Ditchling Beacon. This was one of a series of beacons that I would pass on the Downs. Built in medieval times after the Norman conquest, they were used to warn Queen Elizabeth I of the Spanish Armada, each one lit in turn to signal Sir Francis Drake's navy to ready the coast for war. But just as I was nearing the top, my ankle gave way, or at least the bruise that my boots had been gnawing at the last 2 days finally refused to go any further. There was only one thing for it. I had to lose the boot. And so that is how I ended up staring down the barrel of a field of stingy nettles and cow dung with nothing but a hiking sock and a head torch to protect me. I sloshed the last 5 miles home, one booted, wiggling my toes between steps to keep them warm. On a clear day, the views along the way are endless, especially at Devil's Dyke, a dramatic V-shaped glacier valley allegedly forged by Lucifer himself, although evidently on one of his nicer days, because it is beautiful. The celebrated 19th century painter John Constable described it as the grandest view in the world, the vast flat plain of the low Weald disappearing to the north, and the long ridgeline of the Downs fading westwards beside the distant haze of a shimmering sea. But the days are not always clear. To enjoy walking in the UK, you have to be philosophical about the weather. It's going to be an adventure, I told myself, staring through rain-streaked windows the next morning. It's going to be wild. I was even looking forward to it. And then I walked out the door. It was not just raining. It was the kind of preposterous, bone-drenching wetness I didn't think was possible without complete immersion in the ocean. People scurrying with umbrellas openly laughed at me as I walked past them out of town with my rucksack. Even if I had a submarine, I don't think I could have stayed dry. But there's something liberating about reaching the point at which you simply can't get any wetter. As I slowly climbed back onto the trail, heavy raindrops bouncing off my hood and dripping down my face, I felt my mind relax into the steps, my breath, the simple rhythm of walking. Until much sooner than I expected, I arrived at Chanctonbury Ring, an ominous circle of ancient trees that loomed suddenly out of the rainstorm, like skeletal hands rising from the earth. This site has been used for thousands of years as an Iron Age hill fort, Roman temple, and more recently, a place of pagan worship, witchcraft, and apparently UFO sightings. It is also said that if you walk around the ring anti-clockwise on a dark night, the devil will come and offer you a bowl of soup in exchange for your soul. The next 2 days thankfully brought with them more sun and more beauty. I climbed what local mountain bikers refer to as the Wall of Death to the top of Bignor Hill, and then followed the path of Stane Street, the old Roman road that runs from Chichester to London, before entering the quiet orange and mossy green woodland of Graffham Down. Despite the almost constant need to urinate due to too many lunchtime beers and distinct lack of cover on the top of the Downs, there is something special about hiking tipsy, I thought. I felt a part of it all. I hummed to myself as I followed the wide chalk path, meandering gently up and down past farms and fields and the edges of forest below. I passed hilariously named villages like Winding Bottom. I found a large oval scar of a 2,500-year-old hill fort on the summit of Old Winchester Hill, and I jumped for joy off the summit stone of Beacon Hill, views of humpback ridges already crossed, stretching back eastward as the sun broke through into spots of shade and colour across the valley. The miles passed quickly, and sooner than I liked, I was standing on the edge of Winchester and the end of the trail. It had taken me 99 miles, 6 days and 26 pints to get here, but I couldn't bring myself to make the final crossing in. Long-distance treks force you to experience the world slowly at the pace of your own 2 feet, and that means you experience it completely. You have time to do nothing but be a part of the landscape across which you move. And there's something profoundly beautiful about that, something that I was going to miss and hoped to return to soon. But there was one pint left on my list, and I'd saved the best until last. So blowing a kiss to the wilds, I turned across the howling road and entered the real world again. The South Downs Way actually ends at the Old City Mill in Winchester. But perhaps a more suitable finish, at least for a pub crawl, is to walk a mile or so south from Wolsey Castle across the Meadowlands to the Hospital of St. Cross and request something called the Wayfarer's Dole. This abbey has for over 850 years been offering weary travellers who knock on the porter's door, often those who would have followed this very route, a small piece of bread and a glass of ale. I have just completed the South Downs Way, I said as the thick wooden door creaked open and the porter smiled within, and I've come to request the Wayfarer's Dole. He closed the door, returned a few minutes later with a small pewter cup and a piece of bread. "Congratulations," he said as I drank the beer. "It's a long way you've come." Yes, it was. The beer was only a sip, but without a doubt, it was the best of the whole trip. Thanks for listening, guys. That was a fun one. It brought back a lot of memories. If you want to do this 100-mile pub crawl, you can work it out, or just drop me a line at armchair-explorer podcast as the Instagram, or head to the website armchair-explorer.com and I'll fill you in on the secrets of how I did it. There's loads more pubs that could be fitted in there, and it's a great trip. If you did enjoy the episode, please review this show if you can. I'm trying to get to 200 reviews. It's not that many, and I'd really love to get there by the end of the year. So if you enjoy it, just click that glowing 5-star review. Hopefully, you don't have to write anything. Just click those stars. It would mean an awful lot to me. And remember to follow the show wherever you get it as well. So thanks for listening. And until next time, keep drinking those pints, keep trekking those treks, because the more we look for wonder in the world, the more the wonder of the world becomes a part of who we are. Dare to be truly alive. Armchair Explorer is produced by Armchair Productions. You can find our other shows at armchair-productions.com. My name's Aaron Millar. I wrote and presented the show, and Charles Tyree does the audio editing and sound design. Our theme music is by the artist Sweet Chat. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time.
Quick question. Do you want travel tips from people who have actually been there?
Our show is co-hosted by Tim Johnson, an award-winning travel journalist who's been to more than 145 countries around the world. And I'm David Brody, the other co-host who's been travel podcasting for 20 years while traveling to 50-plus countries around the world.
In about 10 or 20 minutes per show, we break down a destination with the kind of insight you usually only get from long guidebooks or hours of research.
So if you want expert advice, zero fluff, and travel inspiration that you can actually use, search for Travel in 10 wherever you listen to podcasts, or you can also find us at boyescape.com.
Hi, I'm Pauline Fromer, host of the Fromer's Travel Podcast. We post new episodes weekly, detailing the kinds of money-saving tips and cultural insights that will make your trips richer without making you significantly poorer. We do so by interviewing real travel experts like TV host Samantha Brown, Fromer's authors from around the globe, and such public figures as Free Solo's Alex Honnold. It's a fun travel party. I hope you can join us.